What's up? What's up? Welcome back to vlog number two. So, literally just picked up my clothes from the cleaners and trying to figure out which Pokemon we're gonna go play at today. I would say one thing I definitely enjoy about living, in that Maryland, Baltimore, DMV area is that you got four options of casinos. Of course, you got Horseshoe in downtown Baltimore. You got Live up at Arundel. You got MGM down at National Harbor, and then you got Hollywood up in Perryville. And every casino is like within like 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes of each other. But yeah, so I decided, which once I had picked up my clothes, I'm in the vicinity of Horseshoe, so we're gonna take a look at Horseshoe and play some poker there today.
Alright, so we get here at the poker room. I buy in for 400, which I normally always do at a 1-3 table, and I've been sitting here for about like an hour and a half and haven't seen any good hands until I finally look down at Queen 9 suited. So in the middle position, I'm gonna go ahead and raise that up to $15 where I get two callers. Alright, so the flop comes Ace 5-3 with a spade draw, and I lead out for $30 with absolutely nothing. I'm like, ace high, probably hit my range. Let me bet it. But not looking at my customers who called. The single person that called is an old man coffee. Like literally, he's an old man sitting there drinking coffee. So a 7 of diamond comes on a turn, and I'm gonna continue trying to apply pressure to get this old man to fold. I bet $60, right? So normally I'll probably get a fold, but old man drinking coffee, of course he makes the call, right? So river comes a 5 of spade, right? So when this 5 of spade comes, the old man leaves out for his entire stack, which is about $200, and I put on my best Oscar performance to make it seem like I had a tough decision and I was making a tough fold, and went ahead and just fold. Alright, so remember, I've been card dead for about an hour and a half, and I finally look down at something good again. Ace 3 suited under the gun, so I go ahead and raise it up to $15, right? So I receive one caller, and the flop comes 7 Ace 4 with a spade draw. I go ahead and bet $15. I have an ace, so it's like, why not bet the 15? He calls. Then the turn comes a 4 club. I feel like now, second thing that I should have probably checked, since I might kind of have the board covered, but I went ahead and bet $20, and he folds, so I win back some money. Okay, I'm gonna stop using I've been trash dead as my excuse to playing some trash ass hands, but I'm just being a maniac today, you might as well say. I'm on a button, and it's in a straddle pot, and I look down at Jack Deuce, and with two players limping to me on a straddle pot, I go ahead and make a bet of $20. So I get 3 callers. We go to a flop, right? And the flop didn't even matter. I didn't care about it. I was going to bet it regardless, and I bet $40. And with that 40, I take it down. All right, so it's another straddle pot. Straddle for $6, and this time we have 4 players limping for that $6 to me. So with $24 of dead money in there, and I'm looking down and seeing Ace Queen suited, of course I'm a raise, and I raised to $30. And with that 30, everyone basically folds to me. So I picked up an easy $24 right there. All right, so this time around, I put the straddle on for $6, and it goes around and get 5 people calling the $6. So when it comes back to me, I raise it up to $46 because I'm here to gamble. I haven't seen any good hands since I've been here, and I'm just like, I'm apply pressure. That's what's gonna win it for me. So it goes around, and everybody basically folds. So I pick up a good $30 worth of dead money right there. All right, yo, like I really been card dead, and I've been trying to make hands and make money just playing anything, and I've really been losing, I would say. But I look down at 3-6 suited, and 3-6 Mafia is one of my favorite groups. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply some pressure with this hand. So I went ahead, bet $15, and I get 2 callers to a flop of all black suited cards. I really don't have to show y'all the cards, just know that it was all black suited and it didn't hit nowhere near my range. So me still saying I'm apply pressure, I go ahead and make a pot size bet of $45, and I only get 1 caller to come along with that. So with me getting 1 caller, I should have known that like he must got it, but I'm applying pressure, so I go all in, and basically he snaps calls me and he shows he flopped a flush. And you know, that's how I lose this session, you know, being a maniac in a sense.
Got my head bust at Horseshoe for real. Man, they bust my damn head for real. Yeah, can't even say nothing for real. Part of it's my play, not being patient, trying to make plays out of everything. The second part, once I finally get hands, niggas was getting, man, people was getting better hands, you feel me? So, poker, that's all it is, part of poker and all that. You gotta be patient for real. That's one of the big ones, like, that I feel like I still have to work on, is just being patient. Like, when your hands are dead, stop trying to make hands out of nothing. You feel me? Just go ahead, play your hand, play what you can. I was making hands out of like 3-6 and shit. Like trying to make hands out of 3-6. Yeah, it just wasn't my day.
So after basically tossing 400 into the fire, most of it being my fault and not because of variance, you know, I went against my 1 buy-in rule and went ahead to live casino and jumped into a 1-3 game and bought in for 200. Alright, so after a couple hands go by, I get pocket aces, right? Yes, these are the hands I need, yes sir. So I get pocket aces in a big blind. I'll go ahead and raise it to $20, and we go 4 ways to the flop, right? And the flop comes ace, 5, queen. I flop a set. Like, these are the hands I was asking for. These was the hands I was trying to get. So time to set the trap. I go ahead and I check, right? Middle position, went ahead, he bet 16. It folds to me and I make the call. Alright, so the turn comes a 2. I check it to him and he bets $35, and I'm not going to set any alarms off. I'm just going to simply call his 35, and that leaves me about 150, which gives me a good amount to basically jam on any river. So the river comes a 10 of diamond, and of course I just continue with it and jam like I was planning on doing. And he calls me, I turn over my set of aces, and he shows ace jack, right? Man, so we got max value. Only thing we should have been worried about was king queen, but he wasn't bet like, yeah, king queen, so wasn't too worried. Alright, so probably about a couple hands later, I look down at aces again. Like, these are the hands I wanted earlier at Horseshoe. But I look down at aces, raise to 20, and I get 1 caller, and a flop comes queen, 10, 5, rainbow. I go ahead and bet 25. He called with only leaving himself about 25 left. So the turn comes a king of heart. He basically goes all in for his last 25, and I simply call. And you know, I'm gonna let y'all hear the rest.
Queen, you win. Alright, 2 pair. Straight. Oh, straight. Damn, you give game aces.
Alright, so I'm in the middle position. After 1 lipper, I look down at ace 9 of diamonds, and I raised up $12. And the button who just got here, he been playing pretty aggressive. He 3 bets us to 25, and the lipper calls, and I'm like, okay, let me just call too. So I call the 25, and we go to a flop of ace of diamonds, 2 of spade, ace of heart, and the limper checks, and I'm gonna check to the aggressor to see what he do, and he checks it through. The turn comes a 10 of diamond, and the early position now leads out for $25, right? So with me having a flush draw and top pair, I'm simply just gonna call it 25. I call it 25, and the button costs 25 also. The river comes to 7 diamond. I checked my cards to make sure I had the 9 of diamond because I'm more so worried about the straight flush on this type of board. Other than that, I have the basically nuts right there. So he leads off of $51, and I'm sitting there thinking, how much more can I get out of him? He has about $75 left, and then I still had the guy on the button. So I go ahead and I raise it up to 115. That simply should push basically all of early position stack all the way in. He basically caused all in. I had $10 more, and I show, and he shows king queen of diamonds. So he had the second nuts. So alright, so last hand of the day. I look down at king queen in the hijack position, and the cutoff raises to 12, and I smooth call. Alright, so we go 5 players to the flop of king 2 10 2 with a spade draw. It checks to the pre-flop raiser. He bets 20. Once he bets 20, I don't want to say any players in this hand. And I want to put pressure on anybody that has a flush, straight draws, and find out who may have a set or 2 pair, aces or kings. So I go ahead and raise to 75. Right, so folds around to the pre-flop raiser, who thinks about it and then finally makes a call. Right, so the turn comes a 3 of club, and he checks. So I'm going ahead. I'm like thinking about how much I should bet. So I'm like, I'm gonna make a little nice size bet of 165, and at 165 he begins to think about it a lot. At this point, I'm just like, when he's thinking hard, I'm like, okay, let me start putting him on. Like, I've been putting him on range, but let me like really get the range down. So I'm putting him on like king queen to like king jack, flush draws, ace 10 with like a ace of spade. So he's thinking out loud also. So at the same time, I eliminated ace kings, and I eliminated sets out of his holding, and he ended up calling. Alright, so 10 of hearts comes on the river, and I simply just show, because now I'm like, you may have a 10 in your hand. Let me just show my hand out for the win, and I end up winning. But my question is, should I have bet that, or was me checking through and just taking a pot was a good move? Alright, so after losing $400 at Horseshoe and cashing out $765 at Live, I'm up $165 in a matter of like 6 hours of work. So, yep. Yeah, I'm never going back to Horseshoe. Made all my money back, but Horseshoe is dead to me. Alright, remember that. Horseshoe is dead to me. So don't ask me to go back to Horseshoe. Don't ask do I want to play back in Horseshoe. None of that stuff. Horseshoe is dead. Alright? Like dead. Live is home. I'll be at MGM sometimes, and I'll be at just Live at MGM. I'm never going back to Horseshoe. I learned my lesson. It's like I don't win. I just don't win at Horseshoe. I don't know what it is. Something in the atmosphere that I don't play good down there. I go wild. I don't know what's up down that bit, but I'm not going back to Horseshoe at all.